connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
Ball gets out pretty well, so does Rogers come next to it. Ward once again to the sideline.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. SmarterBase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our SmarterBase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about SmarterBase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
We don't tell for the rest of the field, but here comes Jimmy Stone.
You know, you got to love technology. What's going on, everybody? Your man, Eric Wilson, here for the Sports Arena Live here on a Wednesday night. I got the entire crew in here with me. So we got a jam-packed show. Not going to waste any time. My phone has been blowing up all day because the subjects we're going to talk about tonight, some of them might not be for everybody. Dare I say, I might have to put a smoking section disclaimer out. But I got the entire crew out here. So let me go ahead and shut up and let me get all of them in here. First and foremost, our girl. Welcome back. I know she had some enjoyable time off. Miss Megan Price is in the building. Megan, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
It's good to see you. I'm glad you're back. Welcome back. Love the 806 sports shirt. Looking good.
Thank you.
You got a major task ahead of you. Well, your Dallas Wings do tomorrow
Yeah.
night. But we can
definitely. We'll be playing the Dream, which they're kind of on the lower end as far as rankings, but they do get hot and they have a great shooter in Courtney Williams. So it'll definitely be a task.
Well, I mean, listen, they could definitely play spoiler because I mean,
True.
the road between 8 and 5 is very much up in the air. So
Absolutely. So it's definitely a task. I know we can do it. We want to make the playoffs. We barely missed it last year. So I know we can do it, but it's going to be a task. It's not going to be easy. Every game counts.
Oh, yeah, from this point forward. And I could say the same thing about the Chicago Sky. But you and I could talk WNBA all night long, but I guess I got to let the rest of the fellas in here. So let me go ahead and get my man. Welcome back. Say what? Say it again every Tuesday night, 8:30. This brother is doing so much on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. He's a part of 3 Point Conversion family. My man Tyree back in the house. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I'm well, man. Everything good?
Oh yeah, everything good, man. Ready to get this. Got my sports arena.
I saw that, bro. I love
Yeah,
CC.
yeah,
You don't
man.
know how to represent. I know. I gotta send Mike his. I guess eventually I gotta give it to him. I don't know if I
gotta show love to my guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Let me get I know I heard him. Fox Sports 1340 AM, the one and only Mr. John Shears in the house. What's up, John?
Hey, looks like I was kind of right about Urban Meyer, huh? Say what? Say that again. I was kind of right about Urban Meyer, huh?
Listen,
this isn't college.
We will get to him in just a moment. And if you're going to talk about Jacksonville and you're going to talk about Urban Meyer, then I would be remiss if I did not do this man a whole lot of justice and bring in NSPN, Florida Sun, Jacksonville Jaguars. Look at him. Man got more credentials than I got socks. Look at him. Alex Fleming's in the house. What's up, brother?
A lot of people talk. I do.
My man. Enough said. Mic drop. There it is. We have a mic drop moment from Alex Fleming. Last but not least, I'm going to see this guy very, very soon. We have not seen each other in quite some time. So Florida's had many hurricanes, but we're bringing in the devil in the building. Mike Caratanudo, believe in the Pac-12, ASU Sun Devil. What's up, Mike? Oh, and by the way, before we get started, congratulations last night on the Phoenix Mercury just dominating performance against the Chicago Sky. Let me just go ahead and get that out the way. And, of course, hold on, you're muted. That's why I did that. No, you muted yourself, Mike. That was not me. There you go.
No, I was going to leave that out about Chicago. I was just going to say the Mercury, I mean, they're only under 500. On all of their standings is in conference. They're 6-7, but 9-3 on the road. Road Warriors 9-1 in their last 10. Like I said, man, it's that time of the season for Taurasi to just and the group to bring it on. Skylar Diggins-Smith getting healthy, getting Griner throwing down a dunk. So I mean, come on, man.
Okay, Mike. Hold on. Let me get Megan in here on this one really quick before we get, because I could always talk WNBA, but really quick, I want to get Megan in on this one. Answer me this question, Mike and Megan.
Okay.
Why did they not let Diggins-Smith go for that triple-double last night? She was, I mean, come on. How did you took her out with 2 minutes left? Granted, they had dominated the game, but she was one shy. I mean, come on.
Because if she would have got hurt, everybody would have been wondering why she was still in the game. Like when Griner went down last week with an ankle and they were blowing out New York, like everyone was wondering, like, why was she even still in the game? It's too close to the playoffs. You can't risk the injury.
Yeah, I mean, I thought of it too, but she's just coming off an injury too. That's
Right.
the other thing, Eric. I mean, she's just coming off an injury. She wasn't even supposed to be back, I think, until like I thought after this game, because they said they were going day to day, and she got back pretty quick. So I guess it wasn't as bad as the training staff thought. But man, I know I saw it too, and I was like, man, I wasn't even going to text you. I was like, man, I can't even give Eric a hard time. I like Chicago. It's because I like it. If it was a Philly team, I would have been hammering.
Right. Well, I
Very
did listen to your media availability though. Like I clicked on the Chicago Sky right when they went live after the game, and it was you.
Oh, well, thank you, Megan. Yeah, I meant to put that out. My internet cut out, so I couldn't get Azure Stevens, but I did get Coach Wade and I did get Courtney. So I'll make sure to post that. But while I got the two of you here, let's talk a little Premier Soccer with Mike and Megan. I'm gonna let the two of you take over here. I'm gonna gracefully sit this one out. So Mike, Megan, do you think?
Okay, so I'm not going to jump right into my team yet, but we're number one right now. But there was some good games this weekend. Arsenal just got completely blown out. Now, it's not surprising that they lost, but in the manner in which they lost 5-0. Whoa, ridiculous. You got it? You there, Mike?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay. Was there any games that you watched this weekend?
Well, I mean, I checked out. I know he's not playing yet, but I kind of cliff noted the Man U game where they won 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ronaldo, I guess, isn't going to be playing until I guess they said the 14th or the 9th or the 14th. I didn't jot it down. I was just watching. I was watching a show on beIN, and they were going through. Or no, Sky Sports was saying dates. So I don't think he'll play. Maybe the 7th or the 9th, something like that rings a bell. The 14th sounds way too far away. But like the 7th or the 9th is going to be Ronaldo's, I guess, obviously introduction to Man U. But yeah, I mean, when you sent me that thing about signing in the transfer report, I mean, they're signing players left and right. I know, and I know it's not the EPL, but the biggest thing is Mbappe Real Madrid like 222 million.
Right.
But
Yeah. I saw that.
Or 235 million, I think is what they were asking. But Real Madrid just brought in another player. I think it was like 35 million, which again, to us commoners, I know is a lot of money. But in that monopoly world, that's, for a transfer, that's pretty much chump change for Real Madrid.
Right.
But they're tired. I mean, if they land Mbappe, and again, you look at how it affects like the EPL, because I think Mbappe could have ended up. He could now end up, I mean, again, at Real Madrid, but I wouldn't be surprised if Man City maybe made a late run. I don't know if they have the money. I didn't look that up, because I literally, like, when I thought of Man City, when I thought of the EPL, when we were looking at the messages today, I was like, man, they're saying 220 to 235 for Mbappe to Real Madrid. Man City could be like, I mean, and I don't know if they can work things out in the end. I guess they could. So if they sell, like a transfer fee for Mbappe, maybe PSG would get maybe a percentage. So maybe they go a little bit lower, but they get a percentage of if and when they sell him off or work out something. I don't know, but that would be if Mbappe ends up in Man City. Again, I'm always going to be partial to Serie A, even though PSG stole Donnarumma, obviously, and paid him a ton of money. But Mbappe, I mean, that to me, if he lands up in the EPL and Real doesn't close this, I could see maybe the winner transfer window,
Right.
Him ending up there, because they're just so loaded. And Ronaldo's probably going to put in. Look, I mean, even if he gets off to a slower start, he'll still put in 20 to 25 goals. And people say like, well, that's a lot. Well, he could put 30 in.
Right, definitely. And Man City, they landed Jack Grealish for 120 million.
Yeah.
So they have some room. They have some room right there, and they could make that happen. Premier League led the spending as far as the transfer portal. Premier League spent 1.35 billion. Let me see. Chelsea got
Hold on, Megan. I'm sorry. Did you say billion with a B?
Billion. 1.35 billion.
What, they got Oprah money and nobody told us? How they get Oprah money like that?
Eric, here's the side note. It's been like that for years in soccer. When they talk about, like, when football players and basketball players started getting more, those guys in the 90s and stuff, they were getting 40, 50 million, and they're getting cars thrown at them, and 70 million, and the transfer fees just keep going up.
Mike.
Right.
Why are you just now sharing? See, this is what a Cowboy fan does. You don't share that information with me.
I thought you knew. It's the biggest sport in the world. If people here would just look, you'd know.
Right, yeah. Well, and okay, so we were talking about Arsenal.
So let the women get their money. So
yeah, definitely.
Billion? Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I just had to. Yeah, I heard billion in my ear perk.
Yeah, no, it's billion. It's billion. And Arsenal, they led spending out of Premier League with 165 million on 6 players, all to lose in the way that they did this past weekend, and they are in dead last. So, I mean, obviously they had to spend the money. They have to try and improve, but I don't see a whole lot of room for improvement with them. I guess my question is, last week we talked about Tottenham. Was this going to be Harry Kane's swan song year, And I wasn't completely sold on it. And then we signed Emerson Royal. And I think that's huge for us. He's a 22-year-old right back. He's a Brazilian who played for Barcelona. It was a huge signing for us, huge signing. So with Son, Harry Kane, Emerson, and we have some others that are really good, I definitely think that this could possibly be. Now, this is one of the most exciting years as far as soccer for everybody that is a big fan of soccer. Like, there's at least 4 to 5 teams that really have a solid go at it. We have not seen this type of competition, and we haven't seen. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say real quick, I just think Royal will actually play maybe a lot more in the midfield. I don't think he's going to play at that right back position. He might start there, but I think they would put him up in the midfield just because of how he attacks. And I think defensively, again, that's always been the knock on South Americans is, yes, their pace is faster than most European paces, and these guys will get around you and up and down the field. But defensively, I could see him more in the mid. Either way, it's an awesome signing.
Right. Well, Serge left, and so that's why I think he might start there in the right back area. But But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Now, I realize it's only week 3, but it feels amazing to be in number 1 in the rankings because I had about 20 people tag me before the season started because we thought Kane was out. Everybody was tagging me left and right. How y'all like that now? We look good. And it's not just us winning 3 games. It's how we looked while we were doing it. We played really, really well. This is only the 6th time in Tottenham's history that they have won all 3 games, beginning matches. So this is the 6th time that that's happened. And then this is the first time that we've done that and haven't allowed any goals whatsoever. Our goalkeeper is the best. He has not allowed 1 goal yet.
Like I said, and what we said, we were talking about, I mean, they'll probably rally around Kane wanting to leave. Again, he didn't handle it the best. He was honest and upfront, but at the same time, like, he fired his agent. You and I talked about how his brother and like that group kind of took over. And yeah, the agents, of course, behind there are pulling strings, as we know. I mean, just like here. But again, he didn't go with this transfer window. I could definitely see him. If they keep playing like this, it's just boosting up the transfer, the money that they could get for him. So you're right. It is 3 games. They haven't allowed a goal. But again, Man City, we'll see if Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool get into form, to say the least. But hey, I'm not going to pick on your team. I care more about Italy, but I'll give your team props. I didn't think they could do it.
All right.
It just feels good to play well. That's it. I don't know if we'll win, but it feels good to look good.
We're going to stick a pin in that and definitely come back.
Unlike the Eagles.
Really? You had to go there. You know what? Just for that, get off the screen. Megan,
Oh, no.
I still love you. I still love you, Megan. You know that. It's all love. You always went to the cookout. Mike might be better. He might get a couch out back, but
Oh no.
So we're going to switch gears here, and I want to get my man, Florida Sun at NSPN, Mr. Alex Fleming, in here because, Mr. Fleming, you are doing duty today, and I definitely want to talk to you about some things that have gone down with regard to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, earlier today, there was a press conference held by Urban Meyer, and of course, with the roster being trimmed down to 53, cuts needed to be made. However, there was, from the NFL PA, there was an investigation, and I want to pull this up so that everybody can see it, so they know where I'm getting my information from. Michael DeRocco from ESPN. The NFLPA had opened an investigation after Urban Meyer said vaccination status was, in fact, one of the reasons or one of the determining factors in why a player would stay or not stay. And I actually have the video of him answering that question. So I want to play that really quick. And again, thank you to Mr. Fleming for being in the media room and getting this from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the video.
I know you can't give specifics, but could you share with us whether a vaccinated versus unvaccinated player had an impact on a roster decision?
Everyone was considered. That was part of the production. Let's start talking about this, and then also, is he vaccinated or not? Can I say that was a decision maker? It was certainly in consideration.
What was this?
So right after that, Jacksonville put a statement out right here and saying availability is one of the many factors taken into account when making roster decisions. We have vaccinated and unvaccinated players on our roster, and no player was released because of their vaccination status. And that just screamed to me that something ain't right in Duval. So, Mr. Fleming, I wanted to talk to you because, like I said, you were the guy in the room. Please give me your assessment of the situation. And then I definitely want to get John Shear and Tyree and the rest in on this conversation. But, sir, I'm going to give you the floor for this moment.
Somebody a rat because, hell, I live in Orlando. That's where, rats live here. Hell, Magic Kingdom. But when something doesn't smell right, you got to say something about it. Now, there wasn't a lot of questionable cuts, and there was one cut that should have been cut a long time ago. Thank God he's gone. If there's any team that needs Jesus, well, his nephew is available now. I digress. The CDC paid the NFL to publish, configure, push out, and try to have people get the vaccine. $3.5 million. And people could say that's the reason why they cut Cam. Cam really wasn't that productive. Mac Jones was better. But you damn sure better figure out that it was one of the reasons why some of these players are getting cut. Now, there's a lot of wide receivers that were cut. Philip Dorsett, Laquan Treadwell, trash. Colin Johnson. Some of the roster cuts just didn't make sense, considering a team that's lacking so much at depth at other positions. And there were a couple of defensive positions that were cut where it was like, I could see why he didn't make the team, but you don't have anybody behind there that's just good as that caliber. So whenever he made that statement, Jacksonville was in a free fall because it's like, you can't do that on television. And Urban Meyer, you are not Bill Belichick. Please don't get it twisted. You're not. I want to say everything's fine in Duval, and this is just a rookie coach going through rookie problems, but I can't because it's alarming to me how many chances and how many mistakes a rookie NFL football coach has already made before he's taken one real regular season snap. So I'm going to do like I did in the room, keep my mouth shut and just watch, because I think there's more to unfold. If this trend keeps going for Urban Meyer, who's not very popular in the locker room now to begin with, I believe he's only going to have a 2 or 3 year stay in the NFL. This is alarming. And if anybody thinks that not being vaccinated won't cost you your job in the NFL, even though you're productive, you're a damn fool.
All right. So, John Scheer, after seeing and hearing everything, I have to definitely get you and Tyree. I'd like to get your thoughts on this and how you feel this is going to impact not only Jacksonville, but also impact the NFL. And John, I want to go to you.
Well, look, I told you I have no problem with the players getting cut through whether they get their vaccine or not, because the coaches are getting cut. So if the coaches are getting cut, then the players should get cut too, just like I said. It should be one way or it should be the other. It should be all in or not. That's how I feel. It's not fair. I don't think that people should lose their job at all because of this, because they should be able to have their own belief. We got through the season last year without vaccinations, got through the Super Bowl and all that. However, if like I said, if the coaches are going to get cut, then the players should get cut too. Now, I told you guys before, what did I say last time? Urban Meyer should be on the hot seat, and y'all thought I was crazy? Oh, look, the Tim Tebow thing, players already don't like him. I mean, I tried telling you guys about Urban Meyer. He's a college coach in an NFL world. It's a completely different game. This isn't college. You can't just do whatever you want. And he's got to learn. I mean, that's why a lot of these high-profile college coaches don't work out, because it's a completely different animal in the NFL, completely different. And like Alex said, he ain't going to last very long. I'll be surprised if he lasts 2 years. I mean, he's just not cut out for this. So, bye-bye, Urban. Whether it's a year or two or whatever, you ain't turning this around.
All right. Well, then let me get Tyree. Say it again in here about this, because I think between all of us, Ty, you might be no, Alex and I are closer, but you ain't that far from Duval, my brother. So holla at me about this, man. What's your take on this? Hold on. Nope, you're muted, sir. There you go.
I apologize.
That's all good.
This is kind of a weird subject because, with the vaccinations, I can't say I didn't see this coming with them trying to force people to get vaccinations. You got certain restaurants that want people to be vaccinated, that allow them to come in. I just seen today that I want to say in Florida that they're fining places that only allow vaccinated people or something like that. I could be wrong, but I thought that's something that I seen on my phone. But I mean, it's a weird subject. I don't think it's fair that if you are cutting guys based off vaccination, I don't know if 100%. I kind of agree with Alex about Cam. I really think that once Cam found out he wasn't going to be the starter, he really didn't want to be there. The timing of it was not so good, but I mean, what do you expect? I mean, Bill Belichick is always going to make the best decision he feels is best for the New England Patriots. So, but I mean, I guess to answer your question, Eric, I mean, I don't really like it. I don't like the whole forced vaccination thing. I don't think guys should be cut because they're vaccinated. But at the same time, I get it to a certain extent. You do want your numbers. I know they want it to be 85%, I believe, vaccination for most teams. I know some teams are around that number and some are over. So
I got you. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, Alex, and I'm going to come back to you on this one. But actually, no, I'm going to give you the last word because this is Jacksonville and this is what you do. Please, go ahead.
I don't think a lot of you guys remember back in 2008-2009 when the armed forces, the whole military group, paid the NFL to endorse the national anthem and the military. What did that get us? Just 6 years down the road? Kneeling, Colin Kaepernick, and a country at war with each other. And some blonde on The Apprentice who's, you fire all those SOBs. Well, now we got a 2.0, the vaxxed versus the unvaxxed. Now, I was in a previous group and I mentioned that maybe we should write something about this because it's getting worse. There's always trying to find a way to separate people from being with one another. Black, white, rich, poor, good car, bad car, lesbian, gay, LGBT, kneeling, anthem, and now it's vax versus unvax. Now, I believe in what John Shear said. If everybody has to do it, then make sure that everybody has to do it. But the course that we're taking isn't proper. The CDC should be able to influence an entertainment company to make everybody else who enjoys, watches, plays, or uses it as a profession to get vaccinated just to enjoy football. Is it right? It's not right. It's borderline communist, and I don't want to get down that road, but I do know this. Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, and Stephon Diggs are not vaccinated. Take a wild guess what that team would be without those wide receivers. Did any of them get sick last year? No. And no one's questioning the people who are actually vaccinated who are getting sick. So yes, if it's going to be good for the goose, good for the gander. People who are unvaxxed, stand strong, because I get a funny feeling in a year or two, this is only going to get worse.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've touched on this subject and one man that we have talked about. I definitely want to talk about my man right here. We're going to have a little tea time on the sports arena. More with the crew in just a moment.
Generations Physical Therapy has been the Tri-State's leader in physical therapy services for over 20 years. And now we have a convenient location right in the heart of the capital city of Charleston, just off I-64. With convenient parking and flexible hours, your access to physical therapy is second to none. Plus, Snap Fitness is also inside with 2 floors of gym equipment and sports enhancement training through A-Game Sports Performance. So whether you're needing hands-on physical therapy or looking to get results in our gym, our family's ready to help yours. Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness. Multiple services, multiple locations. Experience you can count on.
And welcome back into the sports arena. Your man Eric Wilson alongside the entire crew here is with me tonight. Let me go ahead and get them all in here. I got Megan Price from 806 Sports and the Sip Off. Ty Ray from Say What, Say It Again every Tuesday night on Facebook. Part of the 3 Point Conversion family. John Shear, Sideline Sports Network, Cardiac Cane and Fox Sports, 1340 AM. Mike Caratenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, and of course, Alex Fleming, Florida Sen, NSPN. All right, so we're going to get the conversation going. And most of the night, like I said, I want to talk about, really quick, want to make sure everybody sees this. We've talked about this man right here, the man whose name, he was given the nickname because of what he was able to do in Carolina. I just want to get some thoughts and opinions on the NFL, specifically starting with one Mr. Cameron Jarrell Newton, no longer being a part of the New England Patriots. Now, I know Mike and Megan were hoping and wishing and praying and willing to give up everything and they firstborn for him to come be the backup to Dakota Prescott. However, that is not the case. Y'all got back Ben DiNucci and Brian Greer, so have fun with that.
Hey, career over for Ben DiNucci.
He on the practice
His
squad.
career was over before that.
He on the practice squad.
I'm just saying he got cut.
Why did they cut the
over
best
before he got
one
cut.
and then bring him back? I don't get it. I don't know what's going on in Dallas.
Ben DiNucci, man, he looked like he should have been playing the CFL or something. I'm just saying.
So with that,
XFL,
have we seen
AFL 2
NFL Europe?
Okay,
not the one, the two, Alex, not the one, the 2.
Cam Newton, where does he wind up? John Shear, does he wind up somewhere?
The best place for him, and I've said this all along, is Baltimore. I mean, you think about it, Baltimore doesn't have a real backup, and Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton's styles are similar, and that offense is built around Lamar Jackson. So if Lamar gets hurt or gets COVID, which he's gotten it twice, you could slide Cam in there. The offense is – Cam would fit right in with that offense. You wouldn't miss much. Obviously, Lamar's more dynamic. He's younger. He's not beat up like Cam is, but still, Cam would slide right in, and he wouldn't miss too much of a beat. I think that would be a perfect fit if he's willing to take a backup role, which is the only thing he's going to get right now. He's going to have to pull the Jameis Winston route. Baltimore would be the perfect route for him. Baltimore needs a backup desperately because, like I said, Lamar's already gotten COVID twice. He's a smaller guy. He's more prone to injuries, in my opinion. I know Mike doesn't like those words, but Lamar, if he gets hurt, Cam would be perfect there. Slide right into that offense.
All right, Ty Ray, where you think Cam Newton goes? Does he go somewhere? Let me ask, does he?
Where I think he should go and where I think he will go is 2 different things. I think Washington is the perfect spot for him. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick. You really don't. I mean, you might get 5 good games of Ryan, then you might get 10 bad ones. Then his backup, you have Taylor Heineke, who's nobody's really. We only seen him one game. Like I was just arguing with some guys about this last night. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but you could always be a lot more successful when teams have no tape on you and they can't really prepare for you. They don't really know what you do. They never really seen you in an NFL game. And when he went out there, all he had to do was just go out there. They didn't have nobody else to really give him the hook for. So I mean, he just went out there and he was able to play, and he didn't really have to worry about anything. Now, where I think he should go, that's where I think he should go. I think where he probably will go is kind of a similar situation. I think Denver. The reason why I think Denver is you have Terry Bridgewater, which I would love for Terry Bridgewater to be there the whole year, but he hasn't. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater. I'm sorry. He wasn't healthy last year. So, and then Drew Lock. I'm not really a big fan of Drew Lock. So I think Denver, Washington. I think those are 2 good options for Cam.
All right, Megan Price, and then I see Alex rubbing his eyes like he ready to get it on. So I know him and Mike are gonna have a lot. But Megan, let me go ahead and get yours in.
I agree. I think both of those places, Washington, Baltimore, those are both good options. Denver is a possibility. The problem that you have with Cam is something that we addressed earlier, saying that he wants to be a starter. That's why I think he didn't end up in Dallas. He wants to be a starter. In order to be a starter, you know where you got to go? Houston, Texas. Where quarterbacks go to die.
Megan. You have given
I'm not wishing it on him. I'm not wishing him on him, but where else are you going to get a starting position?
His career's already on the decline, and you're willing to just bury him right now.
No, I did not wish it on him. I said I think that's where he ends up. If he's that determined to be a starter, where are you going? They said they have no problem sitting Deshaun Watson all season. So what you going to do?
Okay. Mike, Alex, please, because Megan, You have made some mic drop moments. I think that was truly one because all 5 of us looked at you like
There's
no.
certainly plenty of great places he could go and be a backup. If he doesn't want to be a backup, he's going to Houston.
I don't disagree.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't
There's
disagree.
better places than that. There's better
But he
places.
ain't gonna win.
Go ahead. Mike, Alex, please go ahead. Mr. Fleming.
Whew. Okay. First and foremost, people go to Houston to die. Tyrann Mathieu, DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, and other players have already left for less money to get away from Houston. So to hell with that. If it wasn't for the damn COVID mandate, I'd say the perfect spot for him would be the New York Giants. Danny Dimes doesn't have a backup. He's inconsistent, and that's a quarterback spot that you can actually take. But New York is taking a stance. If you're not vaccinated, and Cam don't need that smoke. And he probably wants to get the hell out of the New England area. The real spots he should go to, stick to your roots. You're from Auburn. Stick in the NFC South. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. I'm glad I can say that without getting any debate from any of you knuckleheads on this panel anymore. Jameis Winston is the quarterback of that team. They desperately need a veteran. Quite a few. They desperately need a veteran quarterback that they could utilize because Hill's not the answer and Book's not ready. Or you could do what you should have done in the first damn place. To hell with Washington because him and Ron Rivera do not get along. Don't get it twisted. It looks like a good spot, but there's a reason why there was a breakup in the first damn place. They fired Ron and they got rid of Cam 3 months later. ATL. Josh Rosen is a joke. Matt Ryan's on his way out. Cam has something to offer. He'll be playing in front of his home people. Stay in the South.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
All right. Alex, let me ask you a question. If Cam Newton does go to Atlanta, will you stop calling them the Falcons?
Not until they get rid of Matt Ryan's punk ass.
Okay. I just had to ask that question.
Remember, Ron Rivera passed on Cam Newton when he went to Washington. He passed.
Everybody thinks they're tight. They are not.
All right.
Well, Ron Rivera also did say that Cam Newton has been on their radar. Again, I don't think he's just going to say it for lip service. A question was asked. He didn't have to answer. He could answer it a million ways, saying we have our quarterbacks. Cam got released. He got released to be a backup. He's not going anywhere right now to be a starter. Okay, yes, unless he wanted his career to die in Houston. Fair enough. I think the best spot for him, to me, is great. But and even though they need defense, but Seattle, because when Russell Wilson gets sacked like 55 times this year, they're going to need somebody. Seattle would be the perfect offense for him. I don't know if it's Seattle.
But y'all know there's a difference in where he should go and where he's going to end up going.
Well, he's not going to go to. Okay, he's not going to go to Houston. He's not going to go to Houston. No. He could end up in Washington. Why wouldn't he go to Houston? The Giants. He's not going to Houston. They have no chance to win. If
you want to know why? Megan, you want to know why? Because then Mike would have to change his 0-17 pick. That's why.
He ain't eating no W's like Jameis Winston, so he don't want to go there.
Where's he going to go and start? There's no place.
If it wasn't for the CDC mandate that New York's happening, I'm telling you, the Giants would be a match made in heaven.
I thought she was sold on Danny Dimes so much.
Danny Dimes doesn't have a backup. Danny Dimes missed time last year.
Cam doesn't want to be a backup. Cam doesn't want to be a backup.
And
he needs to humble himself because right now he is
I agree. That's why I said there's a difference in what you should do, what he would do, should do, and a difference in what's going to happen.
And Gettleman and Newton work together in Carolina.
Ding, 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 ding.
What the heck happened to Mike?
We lost Mike for a second. We got him. No, we got him. Go ahead, Mike.
No, but okay. Cam Newton, I mean, you can look at the teams he's not going to end up on. You go through that. But I agree with you, Alex, about the Giants. I think that would be very interesting. I'm still not giving up on Danny Dimes because, again, if the interceptions are there, depending on who's out there, that's one thing. The Giants would be interesting. But you're saying stay down south. Atlanta could be interesting. New coach. I still think Seattle would be the best fit. Unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say, Philly would be a good fit, but they just traded for Minshew, so I'm happy he can't end up in Philly. But if I'm
It's
Cam
not
Newton,
saying he can't end up in
and
Philly.
unfortunately,
They
as
get
much
rid
as
of
it pains,
Flacco.
but as much as it pains me to say, like if he went down to Miami, because you know that Morris doesn't trust Tua, so if he goes down to Miami, he'll be starting in no time.
How did I know you was gonna go there, man?
Listen, I mean, that was more confusing than the Houston call. Like, I'm so confused.
I said he's not going to Houston. He won't
No,
go
I
to
know,
The
but
Houston
like,
call is not confusing if he wants to start.
no, I know,
There's
but
no
we know
other
he's not
team.
going there because he wants to like try and win. And why would he go to Miami when they have Brissett, who's a nice backup that they really like, and
At
they
this
have
point, I
Tua, who
think he
they
just
love?
needs a
So,
team.
Yeah,
if
Alex.
they were going to get rid of Tua, they would have went after Watson. So, like,
Oh,
it
John,
doesn't make
I'm glad you
sense.
brought that up. Hold on, John. I'm glad you brought that up. I owe you an apology because I went and looked online. I was looking for articles, looking for sounds. I actually owe you an apology. Houston, there is one of the guy's sources, and again, I don't know who it was in the front office, but Houston allegedly there is a situation or a scenario out there where they didn't want Tua, but they would on it. But they wanted to load up. They wanted at least 4
Exactly.
first round picks or 3 firsts and 3 seconds. No Tua, and Tua stays, and you get Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
But it took me a while. I found one report. And Alex, didn't we say the other night that Houston's line is absolute trash and has been trash? So Cam Newton's just recovering from injury, actually looking better. He's not going to Houston.
He's not going to the Giants either because that line.
So I got a question.
Please,
Yeah.
Do the Patriots got any other quarterbacks besides Mac Jones and Jarrett
Yes.
Stidham, who's hurt right now?
No, Brian Hoyer.
They cut Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.
They
got
cut Brian
but
Hoyer.
They brought in Garrett Gilbert.
So really, all they got is one quarterback.
They brought in Garrett Gilbert.
Wait,
Okay,
they cut Hoyer today?
No, they cut Hoyer like 2 days ago. They cut Hoyer on
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
After they cut Cam Newton.
Yes.
sir.
Oh, so maybe that's why I missed it because everybody's just reporting on Cam.
Yeah.
So you have a rookie quarterback in Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah, and Jarrett Stidham,
He was
who's
the Cowboys.
Jarrett Stidham, who's hurt right now. I don't know. I don't know how severe it is, but I just know he's hurt.
So let me ask y'all about this. This is me sipping my tea. Okay. I thought about this. I really did. Bill Belichick, because he is probably one of the most simple yet complex men in interviews. This man says very little, but people pull so much from his minimal words. Here's what I thought. Excuse me. Bill Belichick had an opportunity to go back to what he knew. Okay. When they drafted Mac Jones, he had seen the tape, and everybody can say, yes, him and Nick Saban are buddies, they're friends, they're tight. I get all that. However, Mac Jones could have been groomed for this moment. Now, we don't know what this young man can do. We don't know. However, if Mac Jones has the same style of play that brought Bill Belichick success for 2 decades in Tom Brady, why would he not go back to what he knows? We all do it. We all do it. Sit here and look at me any way you want to. But Jamie Foxx got a song that says, fall for your type. And I think Bill Belichick did just that. I think he fell for the same type of player, the same type of athlete in Tom Brady that he now is seeing in Mac Jones.
The same.
That's not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case,
Alex,
and I can
hold
prove
on.
it to you why.
Alex, hold on. Before you get to your monologue, this is my opinion. This is what I'm saying. This ain't what you saying. I agree. You have a difference of opinion, and I always welcome it. And you probably might change my mind. But what I'm basically saying to you is, based on what my eyes are telling me, if you gonna preach and talk about how much you enjoy playing with the mobile quarterback, and you have all of these weapons that are coming back and a defense that's going to get better, and then you cut Cam, I had to look outside of Gillette Stadium to see him and ask myself, why did this really happen? Now, this is my opinion. So please go ahead, Mr. Fleming.
Thank you. There's a lot of reasons why this went down. Number one, Cam didn't want to be a backup. Number two, Boston media, borderline racist, couldn't stand Cam, had nasty things to say about him the entire time that he had been in New England. Number 3, Belichick had an opportunity to pull the trigger on Drew Bledsoe, but they already gave him the contract because he wanted to start Brady. He didn't pull the trigger. That's why we should really blame the Jets for all the garbage that we had to deal with some guy in Tampa who was in New England for the last 20 years. Because the Jets are to blame because they took out Bledsoe. Number 4, he tried to pull the trigger whenever it came to Jimmy Garoppolo. Brady felt threatened and made sure that Robert Kraft made sure that Jimmy Garoppolo got traded. Now we got some bum in San Francisco who can't stay healthy, who's about to lose his starting position to a guy who played at North Dakota State. Number 5, Belichick knew that Cam couldn't throw downfield. Under Josh McDaniels' offense, you have to be meticulous. If Cam can't go deep or vertical, you can't take those shots. Look at the wide receivers that were picked up and look at the defense that came back. No, they're not going to go after a Super Bowl. They're ready to contend. He's building back his Sith empire.
Okay.
I think that to me, Alex, I see what you're saying, and Eric, your point too. To me, it always comes to defense. Like, yeah, I'm not saying Brady didn't have great seasons, and yeah, throw the ball down the field, but come on, Alex. Brady was the king of checkoff too. I mean, they showed I think on NFL film.
He took deep shots.
He did,
took deep shots.
Alex Smith had a lot of dinks and dunks, just dunking it down the field, and that's fine. If you get 8, 10, 12 yards on a play, you're of course going to take it. It's a first down almost every play. Understandable. That being said, though, it is a defensive thing. You get that back. The Mac Jones thing, and I'm not going to say Cam missed those few days of practice and the misunderstanding. He got better. And Belichick and Saban being boys, Belichick's drafted defensive guys of his, but this is the first, as I recall, quarterback, because we talked about this before, Alex. Alabama and Ohio State quarterbacks have been very underachieving in the NFL. And this is the first time, maybe Belichick would have taken Tua if they had a high pick. I'm not going to say he would or wouldn't. But Mac Jones, then in their conversation, he can run the offense. So I wouldn't have cut Cam. You're right. He doesn't want to be a backup. And I don't think Belichick just treated him like a chump. And by releasing him, he probably talked to him and got him released early because he wants him to find somewhere to go. Now, I don't understand why they wouldn't try to trade him. I think he knows he's not going to get a first-round pick. That's what I was going to ask you guys. Like, why wouldn't you try and trade Cam? Because we just mentioned enough teams that need a backup quarterback.
Cam did him a favor.
But
he did him a favor by releasing him. Go ahead. Yeah.
How the heck is it early in the season start next week?
No, what I'm saying, he cut him on the cut down day, but what I'm saying is he could have held on to him, and then he could have been if you want to be vindictive, Ty, I'm saying he not just Belichick, there's coaches that have released guys like 2 days before the season.
Right.
I have to ask, if you had Cam Newton back when the draft happened and you're at 15, why wouldn't you trade up to 11 and go get Justin Fields instead?
True.
Think about him.
Ding, ding, ding.
Think about him with that offensive line that's coming back off of COVID that you guys keep pushing on us. You keep saying that line's going to be great. They're getting guys back from that opted out last year. Think about what you would have in Justin Fields. You could keep Cam Newton, and I don't think Justin Fields would have pushed him for the job because I feel like Cam would have been a really good leader for him. Their styles are kind of similar. So I don't understand why you wouldn't trade up if you're the Patriots. I know you, like Eric said, you fall in love with your, with what made you work. I get it, but I don't know. It's just me. I feel like Justin Fields trading up just 4 spots would have been perfect for the Patriots with the line, letting Cam Newton still have his start when you're not quite ready for the Super Bowl, but you can groom Justin Fields. I feel like that would have been, an ideal situation.
So let me interject really quick because of what Alex said. I think that's why the Patriots didn't do it, because you already had one black quarterback. Now you want to go get another one. And if, to Alex's point, if in fact Boston media has racist tendencies, then why would they support?
Belichick cares about his winning.
Okay, I understand that. But Bill Belichick's not the one writing the articles. Bill Belichick is only coaching.
Right.
And so
I think Mac Jones just looked so good and Cam didn't.
But when has Bill Belichick when does he ever give a damn about what the media says?
Yeah, Alex. Alex, I agree with you. John's got a good point there. Like, he's coaching the team, but he doesn't care what the media thinks.
If I may, Mookie Betts says he hates he hated playing there because whenever you lose or something goes bad, you got idiots who want to come out the side of their mouth. I can name you a couple of Baltimore players that no longer play for Baltimore
Adam
who hated
Jones.
playing in Boston. Thank you. Who said that the fans were meticulously racist. You have players who were former players for the New England Patriots saying that Boston media didn't give a damn about you unless you had something to offer them. Boston media has been chronicalized for having multiple instances where racist fans, racist commentators, and racist reporting were documented. So why in the hell would you keep Cam Newton as a backup when you know damn well he doesn't want to be there in the first place?
And steroid boy, hey Alex, I can see all that. And steroid boy Barry Bonds used to say, like, when he would go to Boston with his dad, when his dad would go there, talk about how fans would treat visiting players, but even treat home players. And when he was leaving Pittsburgh, Boston was so trying to get in on him, and he basically said, "You are outside." Before the steroids, he's like, "You're outside your mind if you think I'll sign with your racist city and play and do anything for your city." And I don't like Barry Bonds, but I find that very telling.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. So, okay. So, I mean, but that's why I go back to the
Bonds, man.
What's that?
Put some respect on Barry Bonds. Steroids don't help you.
Hey, he's a Sun Devil.
You can just pretend he's getting vaccinated.
And his head 10 sizes. 10 sizes.
So, all right, let's talk about the vaccination, because this thing is definitely going to have a major impact on the NFL season. Players who have decided not to get it, which is their right, will have to go through a specific protocol to ensure that they can play. However, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts has made a statement, and John, you know exactly where I'm going with this. He feels as though players need to be vaccinated, and he is not afraid to stake his claim in that. What does this say about the Indianapolis Colts this year and how this team is going to play, especially with regards to other people, other teams coming into Lucas Oil who may not be vaccinated? Will we see a forfeit this year?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I say I got one no, I got one yes. Megan, what do you think? Yay or nay?
Yeah, I think we will. I think this is a hot topic, and people feel very strongly about it, no matter what side of the argument you're on. So yeah, I do think we will see a forfeit.
Okay, Ty-Ray?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say no. That's what my
okay. So then, fine. We got 2-2. John Scheer, you're my tiebreaker. How do you feel?
I don't think we'll see a forfeit because NFL, we saw last year, will do anything they can to make sure these games happen. We saw a Wednesday game, saw a Tuesday game. They will do anything and everything to make sure every game is played so they get their money. And by the way, the Indianapolis media is already destroying Carson Wentz for not being vaccinated, which is wrong in my opinion, but they're already demolishing him for not being vaccinated. If you haven't seen that yet, you need to go check that out. It's rough.
Listen, just because he ain't my quarterback no more, it doesn't mean I don't keep tabs and I don't get earshots of what's going on. And
he wasn't your quarterback when he was in Philly.
Foles was.
Oh, Sam Ellinger will be healthy in 5 to 6 weeks. That's all I'm saying.
Mike, please go ahead, Mike. Just go ahead, Mike. I'm gonna let Alex have his moment because,
like I said, I don't think we will see a forfeit. I'm with John. They'll play games on any days. But here's the thing with the whole vaccination. I said this a few weeks ago when we first started talking about it. Forcing someone, yes, is annoying. But again, if you're working for $1 billion private corporation, they can set up guidelines that you can choose not to do it, and they're making sure they get that in there. But if you can't get the game in with the 18 weeks and people lose paychecks because of you, yeah, I mean, what did Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs tweet at Cole Beasley? Availability and accountability, because Stephon Diggs, Alex, he got vaccinated after the thing. He's vaccinated. Cole Beasley's not, and that's after Mark Cuban offered him. We talked about this. Ty, I don't know if you were here. Mark Cuban, because Cole Beasley said if somebody buys my wife's stock in Pfizer in her name and we have it, I'll basically consider getting the thing. Mark Cuban says, hey, I'll buy you 3.5%, not 3 shares, not 300 shares, 3.5%. I'm like, I got vaccinated. Send me 1%. I'll be happy.
I have to chime in on this because this is ridiculous. All right. First of all, and not to get into the logistics of all this, but when you get vaccinated, you're only getting vaccinated basically to reduce your symptoms. I know you're getting it for your personal reasons, but it's to reduce your symptoms. You can still get it and give somebody else it, and then they get the full effects of it if they're unvaccinated. So it's not like when you get vaccinated and if you get COVID or it slows down your chances of getting COVID, if you get COVID and you give it to someone that's unvaccinated, they can still get the full symptoms. So I don't understand why these guys are coming at Cole Beasley. I get it, but at the same time, if you guys get it and you give it to Cole Beasley, he's still going to get the full effects of the symptoms. So, like, I don't understand. It's not like he's hurting you. It's not like whenever he doesn't get vaccinated, you're more or less likely to get COVID. That doesn't change anything.
Yeah, but
your percentage is still the same. It's just the symptoms.
John, I know there's at least 2 with the medical journals, and like I said, I have my cousin send some stuff to me for reading because they're not on TV getting paid. It's a whole different story when you're getting basically paid to be on TV. You're going to send a message, as we all know. That's fine. Those doctors know science. I'm not saying I don't respect them, but there's at least 2 articles that yes, if you do get the symptoms are less, but in spreading it too, the numbers are also down if you got the vaccine. Either way, you can still spread. I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying you're still decreasing those chances. But to answer the question, like Cole Beasley and whoever else, Kirk Cousins, Eric's best friend, secretly it's Eric's best friend. They have barbecues every weekend in the off season and probably have cheesesteaks that Alex sends them just to make fun of them. That being said, like if Cole Beasley costs, if you get cost a game check, and granted, I mean, the more money you're making, the more that game check is, you're going to despise the person that didn't get vaccinated, even though, like you said, and we still haven't gotten an answer. What if a vaccinated player, like you just said, was the outbreak? Right. We haven't got that answer.
They're going to blame it on an unvaccinated player.
I think we really have to be careful with our verbiage on this because saying it's forced is extremely false. You don't have to play football. Okay, to go into school, what do you have to do? Show your vaccination card, right? But if you don't want to be vaccinated, you can be homeschooled, right? You have other options. It's not forced. You don't have to play football. You don't have to play basketball. You don't have to do anything.
Play football virtually.
It's not forced. It's not forced.
Athletes know their entire life. If I finish, please.
No, I wasn't done. I wasn't done either, though.
Hold on. Let Megan finish her point, and then no, Megan, please finish your point because I agree with you. Our verbiage, you're absolutely right. Our verbiage should be made very clear. Right. It is not forced.
It's not forced. You do not have to play football. No, it's not.
Exactly.
You don't have to play football. You don't have to go to public school. But if you want to go to public school, you have to be vaccinated. So if you don't want to be vaccinated, you're homeschooled.
You have to be vaccinated where to go to public school?
Everywhere. You have to be vaccinated. You show a vaccination.
That might be in Texas. That's not here. That's not like that here.
Tyree. When you enroll your children in school, they have to have their chickenpox vaccination. I'm not saying corona. I'm saying you have to be vaccinated. You have to have chickenpox, measles, mumps, rubella. You have to have all these vaccinations. When you go to college to stay in a dorm, you're not allowed to stay there unless you have your meningitis vaccination. Period. End of story.
Yep.
So it's not forced. You don't have to stay in the dorms. So if you don't want to be vaccinated, you don't stay in the dorms. It's not forced.
The NFL is a conglomerate of entertainment for purposes to seek billions of dollars. It made more than $32 billion last year, and half of the players, if not more than half of the players, were not vaccinated. The CDC offered $3.5 million to NFL and NFL media to endorse and promote a product that is only a year in the making, that does not have the whole country fixed, and can still get people who are vaccinated sick with this COVID-19, because the Delta variant doesn't give a damn about Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, or Pfizer. Yet you have mandates and strict regulations for people who are not vaccinated versus people who are vaccinated, who are still causing and spreading the damn virus to other people. You have rules for people who are vaxxed and rules for people who are unvaxxed. And I'm no one's guinea pig. I don't feel bad for the people who are unvaxxed because nothing has been medically proven. No one talks about the stats of the people who are vaccinated that are still dying from this. And to say that it's not forced, athletes train their entire life to make bankroll and checks like this. Oh, you don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to make millions of dollars. You only done this since high school. You don't have to play in the NFL.
You're only in the top 1%.
And shout out to the WNBA for being 99% vaccinated.
Yeah.
Look, it's a personal choice.
Yep,
We all
I'll
agree.
agree with that.
Eric, it's a hot topic. It's a personal choice, and I get it. If you do the research, now that it's fully been approved, and yes, the Delta variant's there are some people saying, okay, it's fully approved now. Like I said, having cousins that are doctors, getting to see medical journals of cases of where, people have had issues with the vaccine. Our age group wasn't the guinea pigs for the first time ever, like we were talking about, Eric, which was, again, we're not wishing anything bad on older people, but the cases of, I mean, I know Johnson & Johnson had the clots, and the cases of, like, if there would have been like strokes or massive heart disease, I would have been like, you fix your vaccine, I'll get it. But I'm reading stuff and I do my own research, and I'm with all of you. But when it's a private corporation, Alex, you're right, a conglomerate, a private corporation in Arizona, like, I mean, in Florida, like I saw that too, Ty, and you're saying it, but Arizona's a right.
I read it wrong though. It's what it was saying was they're gonna find. I could correct myself real quick. What it said was they are Florida to issue fines for anyone requiring proof of vaccinations.
Of vaccinations, yeah. But what I'm saying is Arizona's a right to work state. So like the owner of one of the first bars I worked at, you guys will appreciate this, a sports thing. He goes, yeah, if I don't start liking people, I just give them the 5-3-2 squeeze. You have 5 shifts, then you have 3, then you just get 2 a week, and you're like, I'm not making any money. Like, you're gonna sit there and go look for something else so they don't have to fire you. Basically, that's it. But it's a private corporation, so they can sit there and say you don't have to get it, but we're gonna make your life hell. So yes, I get
sounds forced,
quote unquote forced. I understand that, but if I'm not doing it and all you guys did it, we're on the same team, and I cost you a $7 million paycheck. How happy are you going to be with me because I cost you $7 million? You're going to be out there saying, "Oh, well, you didn't get vaccinated. We say you all did, and I just said I'm not, and I cause it, and I cost you a $7 million paycheck." How happy are you going to be because we couldn't make up that game in the 18-week period?
Okay, Mike. So on the flip side of that, hold on, John. So on the flip side of that, Mike, if I'm vaccinated and let's say I give it to Ty, and because I gave it to Ty and I'm a vaccinated guy, now you lose that $7 million.
Right.
And are you going to talk about me? Or are we only going to talk about you? See, there's right there. Thank you all for this. There's where the problem, in my opinion, lies. Mm-hmm. If we're going to talk about it for those who are unvaccinated and costing players paychecks, then we need to make sure we incorporate those who are vaccinated who cost players paychecks because of this.
Right. That's why I said we still haven't seen anything from the NFL on what happens if a vaccinated player is proven to have caused the outbreak. We haven't seen anything on that.
Okay.
Mike, the vaccinated trainer Cole Beasley that was in contact with that caused it to go for Buffalo for a couple of minutes.
Right.
Mike Vrabel, who was vaccinated because he had to be because they were firing coaches and assistant coaches. How is that going to impact the Tennessee Titans or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down the line? Oh, and needless to forget, the vaccinated player who contracted it spread it around Minnesota and caused an official coach to get fired because he didn't want to get vaccinated. Everybody wants to talk about the unvaccinated and how it's not forced, but nobody's saying anything about the vaccinated people who are spreading the damn thing.
I agree.
All right. John,
I just want to throw this in there again because I've said this over and over. We went through the entire last season with no vaccines. We got through it. It was a little bit bumpy. They moved games around, but we got through the season. Every single game, no vaccines, playoffs, Super Bowl, all of it. Didn't miss a game without vaccines. And now this is a bigger issue because there are vaccines available than when vaccines didn't exist.
Yeah,
how does that make sense? How does that add up?
It makes sense because people don't want to take the same precautions they took last year.
We got through the entire season.
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is this, John. I'm gonna give you an example. That's just like with schools. With school last year, you did 6 feet social distancing, then you did 3 feet. Now in some schools you're doing no feet. So, you're not doing the same things you were doing last year. Here in North Carolina last year, we had what we call Wellness Wednesday, where on Wednesdays, they deep cleaned the whole entire school and nobody went to school, period. Now they're not doing that. So what I'm saying is people are, for some reason, I guess whatever. Life has to go on, so they say. So people want to get back to how they used to do things. I'm pretty sure the NFL last season had to do a lot of extra things that they don't want to do this year. So that's the only thing that I can honestly think of. But I mean, I agree with what Alex, what everything Alex said. I mean, I don't know, man. This is
Hey,
crazy.
Hey, Tyree. I love how this whole my body, my choice thing went out the window and went real hypocrite-like whenever it came to.
What happened?
He froze.
I don't know.
Hey, John, I'm going to
Well,
say
and plus,
Hold
most stadiums were empty last season, also.
Very true, Alex. You
That's
cut
true.
out, sir. Could you
But you know they couldn't do that for
say
another
that
year,
last
though,
point?
Megan.
No, I'm not saying they should. What I'm saying was that's a difference.
Yeah,
in
no.
this
It doesn't affect the players on the field. They don't interact with the fans.
I would like to say that I like how America went real hypocritical and their whole patriotism went on a diet when it came to my body, my choice, when it came to mostly African-American athletes having a voice in what they put in their bodies. That really went south. It used to be this whole Roe v. Wade, a woman's choice. I guess entertainment isn't much of a choice anymore. Either you do, you don't get a paycheck. Because we can't cost the NFL money. That's a plantation mentality. And if you don't believe it's a plantation mentality, Desmond Trufant was cut from the Chicago Bears for tending to his father who was dying of COVID.
Yeah,
you right about that. John, you keep saying right. That's insane. I mean, that's beyond insane. But John, you keep saying all the games got played. Yes, all the games got played. But how many players missed games? I mean, look at the Broncos when they played with the practice squad quarterback. It was the NFL's thing. Stubbornness. We're going to get the games in. They played with the practice squad quarterback that was a wide receiver in college. So it's one of those things where you look at it like, okay, they did get the games in and there was nothing, but now that they have something. And again, like I said, people that are the CDC, and I'm with you, Alex, paid on that to like get this out there. But if you read it, I know I can get you vaccinated, but at the same time, like if that's going to be their rules, they can't say. I mean, it's like even when I'm at ASU, like for media and stuff, like we still have to. Everybody has to wear masks inside. When we're outdoors, I mean, people are staying spread, but there's no masks. But inside in the media. In the press room, because it's smaller, everybody has masks on. It's just an inside building thing. And again, if we want to be in there, we have to put it on. I'm not going to sit there and complain about it because I need to get in there.
Right.
But
and I think that's what it comes down to.
Played, but how many players missed games and how many games were terrible since those players did miss games?
Okay. Mike, you don't want to go that route. You must have forgot about last year, about the Pittsburgh Steelers feeling slighted due to all the COVID-19 and the schedule. And the Baltimore Ravens coach who screwed the players because he got COVID and didn't follow protocol.
Right.
That's fine. Alex, stick a pin in it. This is a conversation that is not going away. We will come back to this. Trust and believe this topic's going to be throughout the entire NFL season. But you know what? In 8 days, it goes down. Tampa versus Dallas, opening night, Raymond James Stadium. The Super Bowl 55 champs kick off the 2021-2022 season. Before we get out of here, one thing that I do want to recognize, because I want to end this show on a high note, because that's just how I do things sometimes. I want to recognize this right here. There has been an NFL record, 16 teams, half of the league have hired women in coaching positions, as according to Sam Rappaport, Front Office Sports. Gentlemen, we need to take notice of this.
Come on, Jerry Jones. You got to do better.
Yes, definitely. I agree. Come on, Jerry.
But we are at 15. We are at 50%. 50% at Philadelphia. Jeffrey Lurie, let's go. Step it up. I'll call him out.
It's awesome.
But just the teams that we are looking at here, the Baltimores of the world, the Buffaloes of the world, the New England's not on there. Robert Kraft, what you doing? Andy Reid, thank you very much.
He's going to Orchids of Asia.
That's not good enough, by the way. You need all 32, not 6.
I agree, but
Agreed.
this is a step in the direction. So I wanted to make sure that we at least brought that up and talked about it and recognized it here on the Sports Arena. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. Next Monday is Labor Day. We are not going to be on. We are going to be off because it is Labor Day. We're going to spend time with our family. But let me tell y'all, next week is opening week. And spoiler alert, 3 out of the 6 of us here on this panel are actually going to be together. So get ready for some serious content from the Sports Arena. I'm not going to tell you who. Y'all just going to have to wait and see. But half of this panel is going to start the season off together and show you just exactly how good we are. For John Shear, Fox Sports, 1340 AM, Cardiac Kane, and Sideline Sports Network, Mike Caratunuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun, NSPN. Tyree, Say What, Say It Again every Tuesday night on Facebook, part of the 3 Point Conversion family and our Queen of Hoops, 806 Sports, and the Sip Off, Miss Megan Price, your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. Hey, everyone have a great evening, and we will see y'all in exactly 1 week. Have a good night.